you need to catch up on. So identifying congruent triangles in each picture. What we're going to be doing is called a congruence statement. Okay, I believe I've mentioned this before. So you're going to see this a lot. So congruent statement. What that means is you're going to say triangle yada 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 is congruent to the other triangle. That's what a congruent statement is. So they're going to ask you for that all the time. For some reason, these directions just say identify the congruent triangles. It's the same directions. Usually you're going to see this. So here's what's important about these is the order of your letters matters. So there are a whole bunch of different optional answers. There's like six different options to answer this correctly, but the order does matter. So when you're trying to say these two are congruent to each other, what you want to do is you want to make sure, because sometimes the triangles are twisted. This one, it's not twisted, so you can just go in the same order like that. But when they get twisted around, you're going to have to use those markings to figure out what's what. So in this case, if I just use my angles and go 1, 2, 3, so 1 mark, 2 marks, 3 marks, that's a triangle ABC. Gotta have the triangle. I'll take off if you don't. Gotta have congruent. Okay, so I went 1, 2, 3. Got to do the same on the other. 1, 2, 3. So J, K, L. Okay, that's the reason why there's options is you could have done BAC and KJL. So if you did that, look at the triangle statement, BAC and then KJL. It's kind of the same order. So it went second one, first one, third one, second one, first one, third one. So there are a bunch of different options, but your order does matter. Okay, so in the next one, if I did 1, 2, 3 again and did ABC, it's not always alphabetical order, so make sure you don't think that. So if I do 1, 2, 3, I do the same thing on the other one. 1, 2, 3. I got to do D, C, B. Okay, so I'm just using the letters in the triangle right here. This is not naming angles. I know if you did the angle right there, you'd have to actually do angle DBC, but this is a triangle, so it's different. But that's what they mean if they say write a congruent statement or identify the congruent triangles. That's what they're talking about. Now in number 3, you've got parallel lines, and then you've got one line down the middle. So if you've got parallel lines and a transversal, what that means is alternate interior angles are equal there and there. So that will help you if you need to mark your angles. So it doesn't matter which triangle you do first. I'll do the bottom one first and go 1, 2, nothing. So I've got K, M, J. So I went 1, 2, nothing. I got to do 1, 2, nothing over here. So M, K, L. Now, if you check your answers, let's say you did something different. Let's say you did J, M, K. Then your answer would have been L, K, M. Okay? And then these are the repeats. So these two right here, they were the same thing, but this is what you're going to see on some of the IXLs today. Corresponding congruent angles and sides, remember, you're going to get 3 of them. So what we did was segment BD and AC were congruent, segment DC and BA were congruent, and segment BC was equal to congruent to segment BC. And then you put D and A equal as the angles. And this one you had to use 3 letters. So we had to do DBC and then BCA for those. Remember that when you're marking them, the reason why I knew that they were opposite like that is because if I pick this one between 2 and no tick marks, I got to pick the angle that's between 2 and no tick marks over here. So that one. And then these 2 would be equal. And I showed you it's much easier with the statement. First 2, and then the second 2 with the second 2, first and last for your segments. So we did these ones on Friday. These 2 were in your notes in Friday's really long notes. Next, show they are congruent by rigid motions of identifying the parts. So that's exactly what I was just doing. So this is a fancy way to write the directions of write all the congruent parts. So what we're going to do here is we've got my 2 triangles. So I've got, pick this triangle here. And then we're going to pick this triangle down here. So we got to name the two congruent triangles. So in this case, what they had right down there, which you kind of can't see now, but I'll erase it. So I've got JK and GH. Okay, watch your notation. I've also got GJ and HK. And then finally, my third side is the shared one in the middle. Red and blue are both the same, GK and GK. Okay. Now I also do the angles. Remember, when you see parts, you need 3 angles and you need 3 sides. So I'm going to erase those so we can actually see what's going on in there. Obviously, we've got the right angles, so that's not a problem. So my angle J, angle H. Okay, and then what you have to do is these ones are going to be, so if I pick this one right here, which is between 2 and nothing, I got to go between 2 and nothing on this one. So these two are equal. I know these say that they are 90-degree angles, but we don't know what each one is. But we know that this one and this one are equal. So this is angle J, G, K. And then this one is HKG. Okay, finally, that leaves the other two. 1 and nothing is this one, and then 1 and nothing is that one. So I've been naming on, if you notice the left side, I've all been naming this triangle. And then the right side of the congruent sign has all been that triangle. So try to stay consistent with that. So in this case, I'm going to be naming JKG first. It's not a big deal, though. It's not a huge deal. And then this one up here is HGK. Okay? So that's the corresponding parts. The last thing they asked for, then write a congruence statement. What that means is we need the triangle statement. Okay? So if I do right angle 1, 2, we're going to do it like that. I'll do J, GK. And then same thing over here, right angle 1, 2. So HKG. That's what they want. Okay, so lots of answers for one problem. Next, it gives you a polygon. So polygon, all that means is that it's just going to be a shape with straight sides and it's all enclosed. Okay, so polygon, this one, B, C, D, E, is congruent to this one. They want you to find each value. So remember I told you use these statements. They are very handy. So if I'm looking for BC right here, use your statement. Don't even bother with the picture. If it gets flipped and turned, sometimes it's really hard to tell. In this one, obviously, you know these two are equal because you can just flip it upside down. Especially with the triangles, it's hard to tell. So BC, that's why I want you to use the statements. BC and RS are going to be equal to each other, first two letters. Okay, so 4W minus 7, 2W and 13. Okay, that's going to help me find W. So we're looking at this one right now. I've noticed all these problems down here. So minus the 2W, add the 7. So W equals 10. Okay, next, if you want to find Z, I've got ED. So ED is the second two letters, matches up with TU, which is right there. Okay, so I've got 3Z and 10. And then I've got Z and 16. You can tell the difference between my 2's and my Z's because my 2's have the little curly in it. So it has a little curl, the Z's do not. Minus the Z, oops, not X. Of course I'd erase all of it. Right? Yeah, okay. So minus the Z to get 2Z, minus the 10 from 16 to get 6. So Z is 3. Okay, next, I can find Y. So angle D, if I look at angle D, it's going to match up with the third letter, angle T. So that just makes life easier. I know in this specific case, the letters match up. It's not going to always be that easy. Okay, that's why I'm showing you how to do it formally with the statements. So I've got 2Y minus 31 equals angle T, which is Y and 11. So minus the Y, and you just get Y. Add the 31 to 11, and you're going to get 42. Okay, don't need degrees because it's the letter, not the angle. Finally, my x, that's an angle B. So if I'm looking at angle B, first letter matches up with the first letter R. So B and R equal. So I've got 2x and 9 equals angle R, which is 49. Minus the 9 from both sides, divide by 2. Okay? Almost done. These ones aren't quite as long, so we're about halfway. So next it says draw and label a figure, and then find x and y. So for 28, it says triangle ABC and DEF are equal. So it doesn't matter. Okay, it says AB is 7, BC is 9, and AC is 11 and x. Then it says DF is 3x minus 13. And then DE is 2y minus 5. And that's all it says. So it says find x and y. That's what we're looking for. So these two need to be equal to each other. So I've got the 11 plus x equal to the 3x minus 13. So if I minus the x and get 2x, add the 13 to the 11 and get 24, then you're going to find that x is 12. Okay, also for the y, this one is going to equal to the 7. So the 2y minus 5 equals 7. Add the 5 to 7 to get 12, divide, and you get 6. Okay? Pause me, try the next one. So I've got LMN and RST. So since it actually says draw, that I have to do it. So if it doesn't tell me that you have to draw, then you don't really have to draw. You can just match up what goes with what. So you've got L, M, and then it just gives you the measure of angle, S. So S would have to match up with the M. So you could set 70 equal to 10y to find your y value. Okay? That's kind of the easiest way to do it. So let me draw my triangles. I've got LMN and RST. So they told me that L is 49, M is 10y, you can't see too well, S is 70, T is 4x and 9. All right, so we're supposed to solve for x and y. So in this case, the M and the S are equal 10, 10y is equal to 70. So that's easy. Here's the problem is L matches up with R. So this doesn't really help me, right? So L matches up with R, so I can't set that equal to this one. But if L matches up with R, this is 49. I think that's what it was. Yeah, 49. You can do it two ways. You can either add all these up, set them equal to 180, or you can figure out what N is. So I know that up here, angle M is 10y, so that's really 70. So if I do 180, and I minus 70 and minus the 49 from it, that's going to give me, that's going to give me 61. Yes. So that's going to give me 61 degrees for that one. So that means this angle T is equal to 61. Okay, so now we'll set that up. So I've got the 4x and 9 equal to 61. Subtract the 9 from both sides. That's going to give me 52. So x is 13. Okay, it's basically the same for all three of them. If you want to try 30, you're welcome to, but that's the same idea. And then down here, this is the last type that we're going to be doing. You'll see these a lot on SATs and ACTs. It wants you to name the coordinates. So with the coordinates, I've got 2 equal sides, which means 2 equal angles. So this is kind of, since the vertex angle right here is right on the y-axis, that means it's going to kind of cut it perfectly in half. So this x-axis gets out to negative 2a, then this x-axis this way is going to be a positive 2a. Okay, and obviously we're at the 0 because we're right on the x-axis, so that is also going to be a 0. So that's all we got to do for this one. So 2a and 0. You don't have to get an actual number. These are a little confusing, so I put 4 more of them. But this is my last, I believe that's the last one, yes. So these are my last ones. Find the missing coordinates. So right here, they give you this. And then we're trying to find how far over. We're trying to find the x. The height is q, but we're trying to find the x value. We're trying to find right here. So this is going to kind of be right in the middle. So we have to find the middle of 0 and 2p. Well, right in the middle is 0 and 2p. If you cut it in half, 0 and 2p cut in half is just going to be 1p. So p, q. Okay? That's why I did a bunch of these. I know it's a little confusing. Over here, we're trying to find the value of t. So the x value is going to be the same value as this x value because they're right on top of each other. It's the same x value. So far already, I got the x value. Now, what I have to do is I have to find out how high it is. Okay? So to figure out how high it is, there's a couple of different ways to do it. In this case, you're just going to have to pick a different letter. Okay? Because the height of it, there's no way, unless you're using a 45, 45, 90 degree triangle. And if you're doing the 45, 45, 90 degree triangle, then we haven't learned that in trigonometry yet. So what that means is the length of this is 2a, the length of this is 2a. So since these are equal to each other, that means that's the height. So we're over at 2a and we're going up 2a. So this is going to be a double 2a. So a couple different ways to find this. You don't know the 45, 45, 90 yet. I don't think you've learned that yet. I'm not sure, but definitely not with me. Okay? 7. So with 7 here, we're looking for 2 different things. So we need to find the height. We need to find how far over this is. Okay, so obviously this is 0 because it's still on the x-axis. This is just going to match this. It's going to mirror it. So 2g, this will be negative 2g. Okay, so negative 2g, 0. Then we need to find the height. Okay, so if we need to find the height of these, that's kind of the other thing that I was talking about with the height. So sometimes you can find it and sometimes you can't. In this case, I would use a 30, 60, 90 degree triangle. It's a little bit more difficult for this one. So in this case, sometimes if you can't find it, you can just give it another letter. Okay, the other thing is, that's why they gave it a B. So they gave it another letter. So we can't really find the height, but you can find what they're asking for. Because if you did the coordinate for this, 0b, this is 0 because it's on the x-axis. So that's why they gave it a different letter. I know they used G down here, but we can't really find the height. We have no idea what it is. But you can find what they're asking for because it's 0. Okay, finally, last one, they've got this. So they're saying that right about here is 2a on the x-axis. So if you're going to go the rest of the way, you got to double it. So that would make it 4a. And the other question mark, we don't have any height. We're right there on the x-axis, so that's 0.